Everyone, my name is Lindsay Reed. I am from Summit, Mississippi. I was born on August 12th, 1995. I am the youngest in my family. I have three older brothers. One is actually my twin, so that will further some other discussions in communication because we are so tight in age. My parents are divorced, so that's another way we'll go into communication. But to start off, I wanted to tell you when I was younger. So, growing up, I was with a bunch of boys. I had to learn boy talk. It wasn't just me, I was the only girl. So, it was me and my mom and my brothers. My parents were divorced. So, we went back and forth. So, it made communication a little bit harder. But yeah, with the boys, I had to hang out with all of them each and every day. So, I knew boy stuff and that was it. And then I had to learn how to talk to girls. I had no idea because all of my brother's friends of course, were guys, and they were coming over. So it was just a bunch of guys, and then there I was in the house. And so I was, getting rough, getting dirty. I knew each way to be a boy. I was tomboy at that point in my life, okay? And so whenever it came time for preschool or me getting to know what other girls were like or going to church, it was so much different. I always stuck with the guy side. I didn't really know how to make girlfriends. So I had to learn that. Whenever I started going to church, I think that was my first real communication with girls because my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So we were home every day. We didn't really have communication with the outside world unless we were going to church or, the grocery store. So at church, Sunday school, I was with other girls and other boys. So I made a few friends, but at my church, our whole community was pretty much boys, except there was a girl named Kelsey. There was a girl named Nicole, and so these were my kind of girlfriends from church and the community, and we were just with a whole bunch of other guys. And then whenever school started, I began, broadening my lifestyle and, becoming more in touch with other girls, which I still wasn't a big girl fan, but I tried. I had to learn. My brother had his own ways and I had mine. And so, but of course, we were in the same class together, so we shared friends. So sometimes I could also bring a little tension, and we had to learn how to communicate like, these are my friends, back off. So I had a friend named Helen, and her family were all girls, so I was able to escape to her family and just be with a bunch of girls. As she came to mine, she had to learn how to adapt to the boys and the boys side of everything, riding four-wheelers, going mudding, baseball, everything. So that was my number one best friend growing up. We became best friends in first grade, and so her family always invited me to everything they did. My families just got close, and so growing up, that was who I went to. And then so for my dad's, that was whenever Kelsey and Nicole came in the picture. I was out there at my dad's house, and they all live in a circle, and it's a bunch of families, but they all have sons. Nicole was the only daughter that any of them had that lived in that circle within like a 5 mile radius. So me and her were really close because of that. And Kelsey came in at church. So we all were able to hang out. We all had a creek, so everybody rode four-wheelers to the creek, boy stuff. So she was the only one I was able to connect to because she was with all boys too. So she knew the boy language, and I was able to talk to her about stuff like that. And then moving on, my parents were divorced. So that opened up a lot of tension and a lot of communication problems. My mom, we went back and forth every other weekend. My dad worked offshore on call, so we really weren't sure when we were going to see my dad. And when we weren't, we just kind of waited for a phone call saying, Dad's coming home. And um, so my mom had us for the most of the time, and I had a really tight relationship with my mom. I still do. It's so great. But me and my dad had my rocky moments for sure. Lots of rocky moments, years of not talking. So going back and forth to begin with, I was totally fine. Like I was young, I didn't understand what was going on. They got divorced whenever I was 3 years old, so it was just all I've ever known. And so first, second, third grade, totally fine. Like I got it. Fourth grade, my parents just kind of, it was still new. So they were still fighting. They still were going to court. They were still having problems, still arguing. And I just didn't like this. I'm not a very confrontational person. Really, I mean, yeah, I was rough and tough with the boys, but when it comes to somebody drama, I just run from it. I just get away. Boys did do the drama, so I was cool with that. That's why me and girls, like, we just don't do it. So I was more of get away from it, get out, circle, just get away. So my parents, whenever they were arguing, I hated it, absolutely hated it. Well, then my brothers, they wanted to live at my dad's house because he worked offshore and they wanted to get away. They didn't want the rules that my mom had and the guidance that they had. So I turned into not liking my brothers. Like, it just made me mad. They just wanted to fight with my mom. They just wanted to turn against her, and it made me mad. And I didn't know how to talk to them about it. I just shunned them. I was like, get away. I just move in with that. Like, if that's what you want, please just move. As long as you get out of my hair, stop with all this confrontational stuff, get out. So, my oldest brother was 16 when he moved out, and he's 8 years older than me. So, I was about 8 at that time. So, I just, I kind of shunned him. That was the thing. And then my dad, I didn't really know what to do with that whole situation, and I just wanted to get away. And so, whenever my brother did that, I was like, well, that's not the lifestyle I want to live, so I'm not doing it. So I stopped going to my dad's completely in 5th grade. I didn't want anything to do with him. I didn't talk to him on the phone. I didn't, when he came to pick up my other brothers on the weekends, I didn't go outside to speak to him. Whenever, they were at ball games and my dad was around, I just went the other way. I went to watch somebody else. Well, that hurt my dad. And little did I know, now looking back on it, I knew I shouldn't have done it. I was just naive and I didn't really know what was going on, and I was just picking a side that really didn't need to be picked. I just kind of went with it. And so so that was probably for about it was until I was in 9th grade. So 4 to 5 years or so, I had nothing to do with my dad. Court ordered me to go there, but my mom didn't really make me, so I just didn't go. I just stopped going altogether. And so I just kind of decided I didn't want anything to do with it. The court ordered us to go to counseling when I was in 8th grade. And so I had to go through that, and so that kind of opened up our communication. I was able to broaden what I was saying and open up. I was very closed off. I didn't like confrontation, like I said before, so I just kept it inside. I didn't want to tell anybody what I felt inside. I didn't want to say anything, but whenever the court ordered me to open up, I had to literally sit there and tell them why I didn't want to go, what was going on, and how they could fix it to make me go see my dad. So we went through that process for probably about a year. I was still closed up. I really didn't want to say anything at all. And honestly, it took time for me to be able to see my dad and to talk to him, because whenever I did that, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't like to talk. Like, why are y'all forcing me to do it? So it just kind of made me even more angry. So then that was probably my 8th grade year. And then my 9th grade year, whenever I started getting older, I started realizing more like, okay, divorce happens all the time. Like, it's normal. People go back and forth. That's normal. It's not anything to just, bite the bullet on. Like, it's nothing to get all upset about. And so I had to learn, like, other people go through this. So I had to open up my communication. I had to tell friends, like, okay, this is where I'm going. Like, I'm having to go through counseling because, the problems. And they were all like, your dad's an awesome person. What's going on? Like, come on, tell us. So, I was able to open up my friendship communication whenever I was going through that time, because I had to, I had to let stuff out because counseling kind of made me mad. But then again, the counseling also helped me open up to talk to my dad. So now I have an open communication with my dad. We talk every single day. And I go and stay with him all the time whenever I have time to go home from college. Everything's perfect. All it took was an open communication and just leaving that line open for us to be able to talk and understand where I was coming from, of why I didn't go maybe, and why I didn't want to have anything to do with him. We had a little talk about it, I guess. It was the first time I ever saw my dad cry, so it really broke my heart. Even though I wanted to put up a shield and everything else, it was just the first time. And so they took us on our first date. It's kind of weird, I know. But they took us on our first date. We went to the mall in my hometown and ate at this little restaurant there. And so we did have somebody with us because I didn't want to do it at all. So that was one way that, we kind of rekindled our relationship, is just kind of lit the fire back with going on our daddy-daughter first date. So yesterday we were on the river fishing together, so clearly we're perfect. We're great. So everything's gotten better, but all it took was a little open communication and just putting differences to the side and all of that. And that also helped with my friendships with my girls. The few girls I did have, I wasn't really big on that. Of course, would never tell a guy. Whenever I had all those guy friends, I would never open up to them, which I was able to counsel them. That was one great thing. I love to help people whenever it doesn't involve me. And so whenever they were going through their relationship problems, they were able to talk to me, and I was able to help them work through their relationships with a girl from a girl point of view. So, we were able to benefit each everybody was able to benefit from me having guy friends and them having such a close girlfriend, because anytime I needed them to take up for me, they were right there for me. And anytime they were having relationship problems or anything like that, they were able to come to me and I was able to help them work through it. And so, I mean, everybody kind of benefited from my adolescent years. I was able to experience so many things, which, of course, if I could go back and change the relationship with my dad, I would. But can't, things happen. But we did grow from it and we're closer now more than ever. And so I'm very thankful for the time that we did go through that of not talking. And now we have a complete open communication. And so time went on. I went to North Pike High School. We had tons of friends. I wasn't into the drama, but like I said, that's whenever I was able to start opening up to friends and get closer and do things. I played soccer in high school. I cheered, played tennis. I did powerlifting. I did track. I did cross country. I had tons of different teams that I was on. So I was able to have lots of friendships and lots of ways to talk to people because I played different sports, and each sport I was able to talk to them about it. I was able to go to soccer and talk to them about it. I was able, I just had so many different relationships with different types of people that were able to help me through anything that was going on. So after that open communication, I was able to just push forward and I was able to let people into my life. And so, but I wasn't for sure about letting, boyfriends in. Like, that was not a thing. Like, yeah, my friend, you can help me, you can know stuff. Don't go tell the boys. That is, no boys, no. So, I was in my first relationship in high school, 3.5 years. Like, yeah, it was great. It was just a high school sweetheart thing. It wasn't really anything that, we were just young. Just kind of young and kids. That's all it was. So then I went off to college. So this is whenever my relationships with my parents and my family really began to grow. My twin brother and I, throughout high school, we had gotten really close too because we ran in the same circle. We were from a small town, so it was just we were there together. We were on different paths, but everything we did was together. He liked the party scene and he liked that kind of stuff, but I was still like, if you want to drink, I'll drive you. Don't do that. So he kind of went through his wild stage, and I was just kind of stood back, and I was there for him. He was able to communicate with me and tell me the honesty so I could keep him safe and keep him on the right track with school and stuff like that. So he went through that stage, so I was close to him during that. And then after we graduated, my freshman year, he had a change in life. Like, it was just, he got better and he stopped doing everything. He, got into church. He became full on church and had a girlfriend. She was all about it. And so they both got really big into the church where they ended up getting married. Now they have a kid. So we went down a different path during that time. So we grew apart. And now I actually just recently got engaged. Yay! We'll be getting married in August. And so me and him have a little more in common now. So we were kind of close when we were young because we had the same group, a little bit in high school, kind of separated in college, and now we're back close again because we have common traits. We're able to talk about things. He's getting married. He's able to give me advice. He's able to open up and let me know what's going to be the best decision for me. And so I'm going through things that he went through already. So he's able to walk me through that. And now to talk about communication with my fiance, I'm very, like I said, I'm a closed off person to guys when it comes to that. Like, I've never been that type of girl. And so he's had to teach me, you have to open up. You have to let me know what's going on. You have to tell me what bothers you, what doesn't, because I didn't. If I got mad at you, I would just get mad at you and I'd walk away and I'd deal with it on my own. Then later we'll come back and we'll be fine. So, but he doesn't like that, which is honestly why I'm marrying the guy, because he makes me sit down, he makes me talk about it. We don't go to bed mad. If we are upset, anything, we haven't had an argument, our first argument, but like if he thinks something's bothering me, we don't go to sleep until that is fixed. And we are able to tell each other we love each other and give a kiss goodnight, pray together. That's the only way we're going to bed, is if that happens. So I have learned so much through open communication and coming out and just putting your best foot forward. And honestly, if that's what it takes to have my relationship successful, that's what I'm going to do. At this point in life, we're old enough, we know. And so I'm really about open communication and not going to bed mad, being the doer, getting stuff done, letting people come and talk to you whenever you need it or when they need it. And you're able to open up when you need it, because that was my number one problem growing up, is I would rather get angry and then walk away, deal with it on my own, and then come back and then we'll be fine. But that's not how it goes. And I've definitely learned that being with my fiance, like it just doesn't happen. And that's our number one rule for our relationship coming up. We won't be mad at each other. If we get mad, we have to decide, is it worth it? Is this a fight that we need to, pick and choose in our battles? Letting each other know, is this worth fighting over or this is not? Like we did in our discussion board, just pick your battles, choose what's worth fighting over and what's not, and just let it go. So I'm hoping that will help us. This class has helped so much with my communication because I'm able to implement that into my relationship of getting married in the next 6 months. And this is a tough time for me. So I'm definitely having to pick and choose my battles when it comes to the wedding and all of that because I have so many friends right now who are very upset about either not being in the wedding and they're not getting to do this, but I have so many friends. We have 13 bridesmaids and 13 groomsmen and still have people getting hurt. So it is a very tough time, but I'm able to, in this class, I was able to see, different ways of communication, different ways to communicate with others so I could maybe help myself to not hurt their feelings. Didn't want to do that. I wanted them to continue being my friends, but I have lost friends already in this process and it's terrible, but it's okay. We all grow, we continue, and maybe one day down the road we'll be able to open communicate and figure out exactly why it hurt our feelings so bad, and I'll be able to get those friends back. So I am so thankful for this class and everything I've learned because it has truly helped me in my relationship with my fiance, my family, and my friends. Thanks so much.